G'day all. Just thought I'd do a bit of a channel update, sort of talking about sort of current projects on the go and everything like that. Here's the Pentium 75 Olivetti computer. It's just sort of stored away in the shed at the moment because don't have all that much time to really sort of work on it at the moment. I've gotten more or less, almost everything I've wanted to do done, but so I have to kind of set up CD drive, CD-ROM drivers, and get some games lined up for it, things like the original Doom, etc. So yeah, yeah, should be a fairly solid mid-90s gaming machine. So yeah, and as for this thing, this was showed at the end of last year as sort of being the workshop PC. Sort of since kind of stripped the mainboard out of this because it's the mainboard I had in there. Well, there was nothing wrong with this setup as it was, but I had my sort of Core 2 quad in there, and I sort of was wanting to use a Core 2 Duo instead, because Core 2 quad's kind of kind of wasted in a workshop PC because all it's doing is just grabbing data sheets of certain things. But either way, yeah, CD, DVD drive, IDE, 5.25-inch bass speakers. These things are fairly cool, but they don't sound that great. They're very tinny. Floppy drive. I don't even know if that drive still works. Probably does, but either way. This case was from an old Pentium 2 from a company called Viclen. Apparently they were a UK company, according to I think it's written somewhere on the case. Yeah, switch, reset. Pentium 2 350 megahertz. I wouldn't have to have a turbo LED on there, and presumably that would have been a display where you'd have a little 7-segment LED display on. As for the inside of the case, it's fairly well just bare metal. It's got a couple of drives in there. Western Digital 80 gig IDE drive, WD Caviar enhanced IDE, floppy drive, CD drive. Yeah, so those ridiculous IDE cables that computers used to have, and then that's just sort of power for the front speakers. I've already sort of got another mainboard sort of lined up, and it's actually in another case at the moment, but I think that'll work pretty much as it is. Has an SSD in there, has Windows 7 Pro, no, it's actually Home, not Pro, Windows 7 Home, so yeah, SSD, Windows 7, it will make solid workshop PC. You don't really need anything that great. And I could have put Windows XP on there, and it would have been fine. But yeah, Windows 7 sort of has a few more sort of features, and it's a bit more modern. Supports more modern web browsers. So yeah, these two here. This is the case that I've got the workshop PC parts in at the moment. It's a fairly nice case. Sort of looks, I think it's like a sort of it's like a late 90s or early 2000s sort of case. looks very sort of Apple-esque, like the old Apple iMac G3 computers and things like that. Or just any old Apple hardware from the time, like iMacs and whatever they were. I sort of forget what they were. Power Macs, those things. It looks sort of like a bit like a Power Mac in the sort of the blue color they had. Yeah. Here's the 433 megahertz Celeron computer. So I've nicked one of the floppy drive cover plates, because I sort of needed that for another computer I've sort of got, which I'm building. So eventually I'll find another one to go in there. I don't think this case is. I think this case is a bit more flexible in what you can actually put in there. It's not got any sort of fixed tabs or anything, so I could put anything in there and it would be okay with it'd clip in fine. Since you've seen it last, I've sort of kind of put a DVD drive in there. It's actually fairly well identical to the DVD drive that's or to the CD drive that's in there. So just happen to have this one floating around from an old computer. It was actually my old it was actually a daily driver computer for a while. It's back around the days of Windows 8.1. I had a Pentium 4 desktop with Windows XP on there. And that was my daily driver computer for a while. So yeah, had that drive and that drive. So both of those drives are still around. Yeah. Tool inside Celeron. This is a very, very sort of plain looking case. Yeah. Power and hard drive lights are sort of up there, which is a bit of a weird placement, but floppy drives in there. Yeah. I actually do have like a fairly similar front panel from another case. Let's see if that fits on here at some point. But it's sort of fairly much the same as this, except it's silver. So it's got some slight differences, but it's probably the same case manufacturer. Looking at it, it's just very similar. So yeah. As for that Pentium 2 case, I've got another board very similar to the one in here, sort of lined up for it. They're both Asus G31M boards, both with dual-core Pentium processors in them from the Core 2 Duo era, so 2007 or 2008, 2009, or no, 2007, 2008, and I'm gonna make that old Pentium 2 case. I'm gonna sort of stick some parts in there, and that I guess will become a sort of a bit more of a test rig to sort of test, things like IDE and SATA drives, and maybe the old operating system if I ever sort of decide to change what operating system I'm using for whatever reason. But yeah, that's probably going to have. I'm probably going to keep the hard drive that's in there. That's got a. I think it's got an install of Windows XP Home Edition on there. So yeah, Windows XP Home will work for just testing purposes. Scanning hard drives, doing check disks sort of things. You don't really need anything better than Windows XP. I mean, I could have stuck something older on there if I wanted to, but I don't really think the computer supports that, so Windows XP it is. So yeah, yeah, that's sort of pretty much it for a lot of desktop computers. I've sort of got a couple of laptop things underway at the moment. Yeah, sort of trying out different operating systems just for the hell of it. Nothing too serious there, but yeah. Well, I thought while I'm here I might as well show this. This is an LG Studio Works CRT monitor. This thing replaced the no, this thing is what the Acer CRT monitor replaced. This thing has two issues. This thing had two issues. I found outside of it, like next to a skip. So, had two problems. One of them was some bad solder joints, which I fixed. Secondly, was that the second thing was that the flyback had failed. So, unfortunately, in trying to fix the bad solder joints, I accidentally in the process ended up letting the vacuum out of the tube. So, after that, of course, the monitor didn't work. So, but then I later found out that it wouldn't have worked anyways because of the failing flyback transformer. So, yeah. I guess I could have looked for another flyback transformer somewhere, but yeah, it's easier just to get another monitor. Might even cost less as well, you know. But yeah, sort of a shame because this monitor has a slightly higher scanning frequency than the Acer CRT monitor has. This thing is 69 kilohertz and the Acer is 54. Would have kind of been nice to have had at least 60 kilohertz on the Acer CRT, so I could have gotten 75 hertz at 1024 by 768 and not had to deal with 60 hertz at that resolution. But either way, you know, I'm going to spend most of my time gaming on it anyways, so yeah, scanning frequency isn't hugely important, so yeah. Interesting piece of trivia. This monitor is actually the one, is actually what, actually the monitor being shown in my channel banner. So yeah, that's not the Acer monitor, that's this one. So with the OK button and the mouse cursor clicking it. So yeah, either way, I probably sort of rambled about computers and CRTs for long enough now. This video is probably getting fairly long. Yeah, well, hope you enjoyed that, and well done for if you got this far. Yeah, basically, long story short, I'm just sort of busy. I don't have much time for this kind of thing, but yeah, at some point I will, and yeah, hopefully in a week's time I'll have a bit of time to sort of do some more things with CRTs. So yeah. Anyways, thanks for watching.